What's up, everybody? So I came to this game store, Nostalgic Video Games, 2 weeks ago on my way back from Ohio to try to see if they had one of the GameCube games I needed for the collection. They did, and when I saw how awesome this store was, how amazing this store was, and I go to a lot of game stores, this store blew my mind. And I knew that I needed to come back and try to do a tour. So I reached out, we set it up, and that's what we're here to do today. So if you don't mind, introduce yourself real quick.
Yeah, I'm Joey. I'm the store manager here. I've been here 4 years. The store's been here coming on 10 years.
Wow, okay, nice.
Labor Day is our 10-year anniversary, so that's crazy. The store's gone through a lot of changes since then, and we're at a point where we're really happy with where the store's come over those 10 years. So. Well, I guess we'll start right here, where you enter, and we're lucky to have this absolutely massive store here. This huge, we're back tucked away in this hallway. No one wanted this spot because there's no window space to advertise or anything.
Yeah, right.
When you walk in to have that wow, that Toys R Us factor, that oh my God, I want to look at everything. There's so much here. We've got a lot of the big fancy stuff up front here. So we've got my pal Dovahkiin. He's been here a while. It'll be a while till he sells, but
how much is that guy?
800.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Yeah, what I love about this is this is an attention grabber. You walk in, you see that right when you walk in the door, you see straight through the back of the store and you're like, whoa, this place is huge. And then of course, if you see this stuff, you'll see this stuff as you're walking to the door from the outside, and it's just it immediately grabs the attention.
But then the first area you see is our classic Nintendo stuff, and this is what we call our Grails case. It's got our Amiibo and Amiibo cards, E-Raider cards go in here, various other random little doodads that don't really have a dedicated system spot. The RacerMate Challenge 2, that's one of the weirdest games I've ever seen come in here.
I've never heard of that game before.
It is a crazy third-party NES game that actually the company sold region-unlocked modded NES systems with the game so it would work.
Wow.
Because it came with a whole bike to plug into, and it tracked it through the NES. But it's just a crazy weird thing. So we love seeing that goofy weird stuff. But here is our classic Nintendo stuff: NES, Super Nintendo, N64. Our shelves are actually decently full of NES stuff right now. Uncommon, but as you can see, most of the N64 stuff we have is sports games, because N64 and GameCube right now,
hot.
I can't keep that stuff on the shelf.
Yeah.
We post every day around 1 o'clock, all the cool stuff that comes in. Any N64 and GameCube stuff we always post, usually gone within the hour of that post going out. NES, we got a decent amount of stuff traded in recently, but for a while these were pretty barren shelves. But these are cool because these Burlington Video Center no longer exists. Wow. Those are old rental stickers, and I love seeing those. But actually on the back, they have stickers with the instructions of the game on it.
Oh, really? That's cool.
So I was like, man, I'm gonna keep all these. Because usually we take those shells off, sell those shells separately, and put the game out loose. But those little instructions, you don't see that.
Now these up here, are these home brews and indie games and stuff like that? They got physical releases?
Megacat Studios.
They do good work.
VGNY Soft, Retrobit.
Nice.
We try and get a lot of their stuff in because not very often can you go to a physical store and find that stuff. So moving into the main store, behind the counter we have what was our Pokemon cards section, but you can't find Pokemon cards anywhere right now. So
crazy. That market's insane.
So right here are system cases. As you can see, lots of empty shelves.
I'm sure they go quick.
Tax return season around here is like a second Christmas. It's Christmas time, of course I can't keep anything out. But tax return season, it's like the system's gone. On this side, we've got some of our, this NES and Super Nintendo, those are they're still in their plastic. The manuals have never been taken out. They're
good to see a micro
beautiful. Too. Yeah. I love the Game Boy Micro. So cases, we'll get into more of the game stuff. So wrapping around from where the classic Nintendo is, we've got our DS, 3DS, and the Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color has shifted a little bit since those banners were made. But DS stuff, crazy popular all the time. We've got our little alcove here that
I love this alcove.
This used to be our tech room. But when we built the arcade, we needed as much floor space over here as possible, so we gutted this and we put in, this is where the Game Boy Advance stuff is, and then all of our Sega PSP stuff. It is a nice little cozy alcove back here.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff back here too.
Yeah, we got one of the best PSP collections I've seen in a long time traded in. All the Yee stuff, I've already sold a handful of it. Now we kind of move into our PlayStation section. So we had our PSP Vita stuff here, and then we got our PS4 with our humble little PS5 section in the bottom corner here.
They go pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't see too much of it traded in besides sports games, really.
Yeah.
And even though we are a retro game store, like people consider us a retro game store. We do everything. We'll do anything from Atari 2600 all the way up to PS5 Series X. Swing around here from our PS3. We've been going through system by system lately, and we just restocked a ton of PS3 stuff. So you can see how beautifully packed the cases are here. It's
fantastic.
As opposed to the PS4, which, you know, things start slouching.
Now I want to make a quick comment one thing real fast before we continue, because one thing that I did notice when I was in here a couple of weeks ago is that the prices are really fair.
We try, especially as me and Adam, we're both collectors, and it's really easy to find, and a lot of the other places that carry everything, I can't justify spending stuff on it. So I'll look at an item and it's like, man, I can't justify spending this. No one else is going to justify spending this on it. And we really try to keep right on that price charting average. These all actually came from a KB Toys.
I can see that. It's amazing.
Yeah.
These cabinets are incredible.
2 PS1 and 2 N64 ones. These are probably some of my favorite furniture pieces in the store.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Here's the end of PS2, and PS2 is by far our largest section.
Ton of PS2.
So it takes up 2 cubbies and this beautiful PlayStation 1 end cap.
Look at that.
So it's funny, it's actually a PS3 in there that we have just a ton of PS1 long plays on.
Nice.
All throughout the day I get to hear, you know, Crash, Spyro, Bloody Roars on there. We got some of the more interesting accessories, the Sphere 360 PlayStation 1 controller. Just one of the weirdest controllers.
You don't see that very often in the packaging like that.
Oh yeah, but then we've got my second favorite front-facing cabinet, our nice 360 or Xbox 360, Xbox One stuff. Concrete Jungle and Curse of Darkness are 2 of my favorites. Here's our Switch case here.
Beautiful.
We get I mean, the Mario stuff, the Legend of Zelda stuff, Kirby, Pokemon, gone as soon as I put it out. So we end up having a lot of limited run, VGNY soft stuff, the more expensive collector-y stuff hanging out. People are always like, man, why are your Switch games so expensive? It's like, all I have are the expensive ones.
Right.
The Switch is still really going strong compared to like PS4 and Xbox One, where like physical copies, they'll overproduce a bunch of them.
Exactly. It seems like, and I'm curious from your perspective, just seeing the sales that you get, it seems like there aren't a lot of people collecting for the original Xbox right now.
There's a lot of diehard collectors that go for, you know, the complete PS2 or N64.
I'm going for GameCube.
Yeah. I see a lot more casual collectors for the original Xbox. And those casual collectors slowly build into die-hard collectors. I have a regular here that is going for a complete set of original Xbox games.
It's the best time to do it.
Prices
are not that bad.
And he'll come in and he's going alphabetically right now. And he'll try and pick up, you know, the more expensive ones when he sees good deals. But man, he'll go through one shelf every time he's here and just pick off, you know, 5-10 games. It's interesting because you really do see like the different crowds of people that go for different systems. And original Xbox is definitely less of a high demand, but it's turning casual customers, casual collectors that are just getting stuff that they had when they were kids into more diehard collectors.
That's awesome.
It's really cool to see.
Yeah, I love to hear that.
Oh yeah. Usually, we look at our numbers every week and we see itemized what system sold the most. 360 and PS2 are usually always fighting for the top, unless we look at Wii.
Yeah.
Wii stuff, like especially around the holidays, I can't keep good Wii stuff in. Wii Sports, I get asked about it every single day. Usually
That's wild, dude.
times.
You would think everybody has a copy of Wii Sports.
It's like a $25, $30 game right now. And I guess it's the first one everyone remembers.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was the first one everyone sold because it was free. And a lot of people, like, even if you weren't a gamer, you had a Wii. And for the longest time, we couldn't give Wii's away. They were like $50, just get them out of here.
Yep.
And then COVID happened, and everyone needed at-home entertainment, and even the people who weren't gamers remembered playing Wii Sports Bowling, they remembered playing Guitar Hero.
Yes.
And those were the two big things. Like, we sold out of Wii's.
Wow.
And we still can't keep any of that stuff.
Wow. I hope you guys are enjoying today's video. I want to tell you about how you can pre-order brand new games through the Goodiez app at wholesale value, and there are some really good games available to pre-order right now, and let me show you what those are and what that pre-order cost is. When you open the Goodiez app, right from the home screen, you will see the pre-order section. Click see all, and then you can see all of the games available for pre-order at wholesale value, and there are some really great games available. We have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. You can pre-order for $62. Market retail pre-order value is $70 plus tax plus shipping if you buy it online. We have Fatal Fury City of the Wolves at $52, Elden Ring Night Reign on the PS5 at $33, Death Stranding 2 at $62, and Metal Gear Solid Delta at $62. So once you pre-order the games through Goodiez at this wholesale value, even after tax and shipping, it is going to be anywhere from $5 to $10 less than what you would pay online or at a retail store to pre-order these games. I have pre-ordered several brand new games through the Goodiez app at below market retail value at that wholesale price and save some money, and I hope that you will as well. If you want to download Goodiez, it is free to download, free to create an account. All you got to do is go to your app store on your phone and type in Goodiez with a Z, and you should be able to find it. Or you can click the link down below. All right, back to the video.
That's pretty much most of the video game stuff here, and we move into my toy corner here.
So I love when a game store also has toys and collectibles, because you know, I collect video games, but I also collect a lot of vintage Nintendo collectibles, anywhere from late 80s, early 2000s. I collect Tiger electronic handhelds and just anything else I'm nostalgic for. So when I come into a game store and I see something like this, it makes me very happy.
So this is very near and dear to my heart. As I said earlier, like, toy collecting is really where I started. Toys, that's my heart and soul. And for the longest time, still even now, is really the only place in northern Kentucky to find vintage toys.
Wow.
I love seeing toys come in here.
Yeah,
and
I bet.
It's because, like, you work at a place like this and you start to get tired of doing buys and trade-ins.
Yeah, of course.
And, you know, you see a big tub of 360 games and it's like,
you've seen it all already at that point. Yeah.
I see a bucket of toys come in, like, I get giddy.
Yeah.
It's ready. I'm ready to go through and pair everything together. So I love this stuff. And then in our little fire exit area here, we've got Marvel DC with, like, the Spawn and movie stuff, and then we got Power Rangers and various anime stuff. We've got some Final Fantasy stuff, and this is where just various video game stuff goes. We got some Minecraft stuff and Halo. And then our Pokemon shelf that was pretty full not too long ago. But now that people can't find cards, they're buying anything else they can.
Yeah, of course.
This is all of our import stuff. I actually see a lot of Japanese games in here. And I never really thought about it when I was a customer here, but, like, I've got a lot of customers that bid on auctions for, you know, a couple specific games they want out of import stuff, and then they'll bring the rest that they don't want in here for store credit and go for something else. And so it's like, I got a bunch of Japanese Sega Saturn, Famicom and Super Famicom stuff always sells quick, even the Japanese stuff.
right, so I think I want to get at least one Game Boy or Game Boy Color game, and they have a fantastic selection. They have a ton of Game Boy Advance games as well. So there's a few games here that are catching my eye. There's an Indiana Jones game on the Game Boy that, quite frankly, I didn't even know existed. That's kind of catching my eye a little bit, but also Worms Armageddon on the Game Boy Color. I had no idea that there was a Worms game on the Game Boy Color. That one is kind of jumping to the top of my list right now, and then there's more. I think I might grab Worms Armageddon. Now, I don't collect super heavy for the Nintendo 64 right now. However, what I do want to do is I want to get at least a loose cartridge copy of every Nintendo 64 game that I grew up with and enjoyed as a kid, and they have one of them here, and that is San Francisco Rush Extreme Racing clean cart for 10 bucks. I think I might have to grab that. So they have an absolutely incredible selection of PS2 games here. And I'm seeing one game that is catching my eye that I shockingly don't have, and that is Time Splitters on PS2. So if that is complete, I'm probably going to grab that because I love the Time Splitters series, and I've never really played the first one. I've only really played Time Splitters 2 and Time Splitters Future Perfect. They have 2 of the Action Replay Ultimate Codes releases. Both are for Enter the Matrix. Both are sealed. All right, so from nostalgic video games, I did end up grabbing San Francisco Rush and Worms Armageddon. And then I didn't get Time Splitters because it was missing the manual, but I did pick up this cool looking Looney Tunes game that I've never heard of before called Space Race on the PS2, and it is complete. And it actually looks like a lot of fun. I got it for 15 bucks complete. So if you guys have not checked out nostalgic video games, you're missing out.